going to happen, Joe?
I mean, I'm going into this knowing that I could die. I mean, I'm not even joking this. Like, I'm just saying, like, I could die. You know, I could be shot by police. You know, I mean, there's a...
Brother Joe. I call you Brother Joe because you're all right with me. White man in the studio. You're the white man that said that you're going to, when you call me, what'd you say? Joe, speak right in that microphone. Don't be scared.
Well, basically, I'm going downtown to protest the Black Lives Matter movement.
What?
I'm going downtown to protest the Black Lives Matter movement.
And in what manner are you going downtown?
I want to bring my AR-15 rifle.
Fully loaded?
Of course it'll be loaded.
And so you'll be standing or wherever near where the Black Lives Matter movement, where there's, I remember you mentioned, I don't know if he's coming or not, but you mentioned when you asked me was I going to be there, with Al Sharpton and a whole group of other people, Dr. Cornell West, and so you told me, you said you're gonna be right there in the midst of them with your long barrel. What gun was that again?
AR-15.
AR-15,
yeah.
Fully loaded.
Yes.
All right, now Joe, let me break this conversation down a little bit closer to home, Joe, because you know me and you have a history of me being able to deal with you. All right, I don't know whether you like me or I like you, but
cool.
But I do. I have to accept where you're coming from, okay? Because I know there's many others except where you that are where you're coming from, the other side. So a sailor animal went into that church in down south. I forget what state it was at the moment, and
South Carolina.
Huh?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Sit there with the parishioners, shot down the minister, and shot down the saints and parishioners there, old folks, mostly old folks. And for some reason, Joe, I thought about you. I said, not in a. Yeah, he was a young white guy. You understand? Fully armed, and he went in and he shot down these people. And for some reason, no, I know, Joe. I didn't think of you as the act being would do something like that. I thought of you as a person that I needed to talk to find out more about where that young man's head was. That's what it was. It wasn't that I was implying that you would do anything like this. But I wanted to talk to you about where could that young man's head have been.
I mean, I don't know what he's thinking, you know. I mean, I can't tell you what he's thinking. I could just tell you what I'm, you know, what my agenda is, you know.
What is your agenda, Joe?
Well, I mean, basically, you know, I think we need more training for law enforcement. That's clear. Okay, we need more training with police dealing with different people. Okay, I mean, I agree with that. You know, I'm against police brutality. You know, but I think the Black Lives Matter movement is a racist movement. Okay, and I'm against their tactics. I think their tactics are bullying and intimidation. And basically anybody that doesn't, you know, there's Black Lives Matter people going around, hey, the Black Lives Matter, and anything that disagrees with them, they beat them up. You know, it's just basically they're becoming the people that they're against. You know, and they're just basically, they're trying to throw their weight around, bullying and intimidating, you know, anybody that disagrees.
Give us
and from January 1st of 2009 to December 31st, 2012, 4,472 black men were killed by other black men annually. In that same time period, there have been 112, on average, 112 black men that died, both justified and unjustified, at the hands of law enforcement. So in other words, there's 40 times more killing black on black crime. It would take 40 years to kill as many black men as have died at the hands of other black men in 2012 alone. So basically, people that watch the media and have no life, you know, basically people's opinions are so shaped by the media that they think this is just going on everywhere. And I'm saying, you know, we need to stop. Okay.
Joe, go ahead. We need to stop. Go ahead.
I'm saying there needs to be accountability. Okay. I'm saying, you know, and the problem with this is that the prosecutors and the judges, they're all in the same city. There needs to be an FBI probe that takes over. It shouldn't be a city because the prosecutors, they have a working relationship with law enforcement, and they don't want to mess up the relationship that they have with law enforcement. The FBI needs to get in and deal with this externally.
Get in and deal with
the police shootings.
Okay, all right, cause Joe, I hear you clearly, and your message is clear. Yet you're giving me a mixed message, and the mixed message, the part that I'm offended by, is the part where you try to mix black on black crime and black on black homicide. You're trying to mix and match that with the fact of the police shooting black men. I'd like to separate those because I don't think you're qualified to deal with, you're looking at statistics, but you're not looking at what I deal with this every day, black on black crime. So you're just looking at statistics. Maybe your statistics are in fact, but yet there's a separation that we can't put those two together. We can't do it. We just can't put those two together. But what we can do with you is we can deal with the fact, and when you start talking about the investigation with police and things like that, the FBI, you bring in some valid points. But here's my point to you, Joe, is the fact of the matter is that most of the conservative, who just happen to be most of them Republicans, talk show hosts, are some of the main instigators of the violence that's going on now, more so than Black Lives Matter. And why do I say that, Joe? I say that because if you listen to any of these guys or girls, they all, no matter what kind of police shooting, no matter what kind of murder, no matter what kind of video, no matter what kind of camera shot, they're always going to say that the police are 99, 100% right. You agree with that, Joe?
I mean, it depends what kind of group. If you're talking about neoconservatives.
No, I'm talking about talk show hosts.
What talk show host?
Mike Trevisano, Rush Limbaugh,
Fox News.
Fox News. You just tell me if you tell me a conservative talk show host, and I don't want to start calling names, I will tell you that they are 99.9%. Whatever the police do is right.
I don't think that.
Well, tell me one that doesn't think like that.
I mean, I'm not really, I'm more of a libertarian, I'm more of a libertarian kind of conservative. I'm not a fascist.
All right, then, when you bring me stats, like you brought, man, you're a good stat man. I want you to, next time you come in, bring me some stats on conservative talk show hosts who dominate the airwaves, and tell me one that if whatever the police do, they're not on the police side 100%. And you tell me one, and I'll be glad to know that. So what I'm saying to you is, as long as they take this attitude and perpetuate this kind of feelings among their constituencies, that's a big part of what's happening. And then then on top of that, and you speak of this very clearly, you take like local police authority, they're not able to police themselves. And then when you got the judges and the rest of the legal body on the side of the police officer too, then you got a combustion of explosive that can happen in our community. You agree with that, right, Joe?
It's a corrupt system.
Yeah.
I mean, basically everyone's embedded with each other, I mean, like, it's just, you're not going to get fairness when basically the judges, the prosecutors, and the cop, they're all getting their paycheck from the same place. The prosecutors, they need a working relationship, with the police. So you need, you can't, how could you expect a fair, you need the prosecutor to recuse themselves and have an outside, source. I think, I think there's a conflict of interest when everyone works for the city. I mean, that's obvious.
Joe, could we get a little specific here? And I appreciate you very much, Joe. We got to get back to this rally that's coming up. But Joe, can we be a little specific here? Tamir Rice case. Do you think that was fair the way it was went through the judicial system and the final verdict?
I mean, the video, like, I mean, I looked at the video and, I couldn't, the video was like really like blurry, so I really couldn't make out.
Joe, you're sounding like a conservative talk show host that I just got talking to you about. Go ahead.
I mean, it's just unclear, I mean, like, basically there wasn't a threat. I think basically, I went through the private security academy at Tri-C. There has to be some like threat, to use deadly force, and I'm just saying if you become a police officer, there's a common attitude, zero tolerance for, danger. And I'm saying if you can't deal with some kind of, tolerance of danger when you go out into the field, you shouldn't become a police officer. Now, I don't know if he saw a gun. If he did reach for a gun, in fact, then he would be justified, in shooting him.
All right, we're gonna move on. I'm only rushing these questions because of the sake of time. 137 shots, Joe. Was that excessive or was that justified?
I mean, I think it was excessive. To be honest with you, I thought the police were, I didn't think they acted with the proper restraint that they could have used. I think they could have used more restraint there. The fact that the police officer jumped on the hood of the car and said, "I've never been more afraid in my life." I just think I think a lot of them are cowards, to be honest with you. But I'm just here. I think the police are wrong, but at the same time, I think the Black Lives Matter people, I'm against their tactics.
All right, so here we are. Here we are right here, Joe. A week from today or less, the Black Lives Matter movement would be marching down Euclid. Where are they marching down?
Yeah, basically from. I'm not even
well,
sure.
That's all right. That it doesn't matter because they got it the route. But anyway, they'll be marching down the route, Joe. They're gonna be holding their signs, and they're gonna be, for a better word, raising hell. All right, and Joe, what is your purpose for having a AR-15 fully loaded?
Correct.
Fully loaded. Are you trying to intimidate Black Lives Matter movement participants?
It's just freedom of speech. I'm here. I'm there to promote gun rights because I feel my right to self-defense is under attack. They're trying to take my right to self-defense away, so I'm trying to preserve that. And I'm there. I like to make some statements to the media. I'm just, I just want to accomplish a few different things. And that's pretty much it. I want to exercise my right to free speech. Saying that, don't take my right to self-defense away. And I'm not like a gun nut. I don't love guns like you think I do. I think that it's a human rights issue. And I'm just surprised. I just think there's a disconnect that, basically people in the Black Lives Matter, they see all these injustices against people in their own community, but then they love the state. They love big government. It's just like the disconnect. So
Joe, I'm reading you clear, Joe. Trust me, Joe. But I got to get to a point before the news in 4 minutes, Joe. So if you're out there with your fully loaded AR-15 and say if some agitators from the Black Lives Movement punch you, Joe, what's going to happen, Joe?
I'm going into this knowing that I could die. I'm not even joking this. Like, I'm just saying, like, I could die. I could be shot by police. There's a reasonable chance I could get shot by police. There's a reasonable chance that I could be, provoked by a Black Lives Matter protester. And I have to, I want to carry pepper spray with me too as a first line of defense. I don't want to, use my gun. But if I'm attacked by a mob of people, what am I supposed to do? Just let them beat me up and take my gun from me?
Joe, don't do it, okay? Joe, man to man, me to you, okay? Don't do it, okay? If it happens like this, listen, a few punches, I understand, but don't do it, Joe. Don't spray the crowd, okay, Joe? Because I want to be able to talk to you much more. We got a lot to talk about, okay, Joe? Just take listen, it's better to take a push or a punch. Not that you will. And Joe, please.
I mean,
do this for me,
I
Joe.
try to keep them out of my reactionary zone. That's one of the things that I was taught, is keep people out of your reactionary zone. Get back, stay back, do it now. That's one of the things I've learned in the private security academy. I mean, I want to try to stay on the outskirts. I mean, I want to try to preserve my safety. I'm going there to be peaceful. Believe it or not, I want to be peaceful. Now, if people get in my face and stuff, I want to try to keep my distance. I would like a videographer. I'm willing to pay for a videographer.
Joe, right now. Listen, I don't know what Sam, our great videographer, I don't know what he'll be doing that day, but I'm going to personally, I think it'll be vital that we assign him. I know that they probably done hired him everywhere, but it's vital that Sam, is it possible that you Sam, is it possible?
I'll pay
him. I'll pay Sam, it's not funny. Talk.
I don't know. I don't even know if I plan on going down there, to be honest.
Well, Sam. I don't see where it gets any better than this. As a journalist, I just don't see it. Anyway, you all can talk about that after the show. Listen, you got Joe. You got 1 minute to conclude, okay? Anything you want to say?
Basically, I just want to say that I'm going to go down there with a peaceful intent, and if I get killed, I just want to say that, my intents were peaceful, but if someone attacks me and I have to defend myself, I have no choice. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Hopefully I have a gun pointed at me, okay? It's just a question, will they use restraint or will they kill me? I'm saying I want to follow the law. Okay, I'm not going to do anything illegal, but I'm saying they need to be able to tolerate some kind of risk. Don't go into law enforcement.
Joe, Chief Williams them ain't going to kill you, and don't you kill nobody, okay? All right, Joe?